nice and clear. I'm about to go live on YouTube as well. Uh, yeah, so we're about to go live on YouTube right now. So everyone should be able to follow along on the tube. So you can click the YouTube channel. If you're not already following it, you can go there. Post the link in the chat as well too. I came on a little bit later. For those that are in the building, make sure two things right now because it's only one person over there. Let people know. Live on YouTube. About to stop having to post. About to stop having to post particularly free content, free plays, particularly just free plays. I still post free content because I'm finding that some people are taking my content and regurgitating it, and claiming it is theirs. So that's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Let's see here. All right, everyone should be able to hear me and see me nice and clear. So make sure you guys are going and following me, particularly on YouTube. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin's price wise. We got Bitcoin here at 82,000. Let's talk about some of the over the weekend things as well too. So let's get into it. Questions, put your questions in the chat. I am live on the tube, so you can tap in with me on the YouTube forum. So YouTube. If you could hear me, drop some comments in the chat for me. Go ahead and share my screen. Oh. All right, so we got Bitcoin at 82K. Pull up this YouTube on this side. People can see. All right, so quite a few people, 42 people on the YouTube. Perfect. Thank you for that. So yesterday we were highlighting, had some questions that actually came in on the back end, particularly about MicroStrategy and what my thoughts were with BTC this weekend. So we're looking for Bitcoin to go underneath 80K. So you can see that bear flag pattern, right? Bitcoin breaks underneath 80K. You got MicroStrategy, which is getting ready to go to 120. I want you to put that down in the chat and I want you to put it down in your notes. So $120, and everybody should be able to see my comments in the chat. If you're new here, this is your first time tapping in, we appreciate you joining us. Just about to give you some game here this morning, so take these notes. All right, King Will's in the building, perfect. So 120 is where MicroStrategy is going next. So the easiest thing that you could do right now is when the market opens up, let it open up for a bit. And I think personally, you might get a retracement on MicroStrategy back to about today, maybe 144, 145 area. So you might get that movement back there. But the next time, like that next pop that you get, you want to short MSTR again. All right. So MicroStrategy, BTC, both combination of them coming down. So we're going to see MSTR pull back down further. So 120 is where it's going next. Now, Coinbase, which I've told you guys week after week after week, I've been telling you guys coin over and over again. As coin was breaking below this 231, it drew down all the way down here to about 194. If you look at Coinbase, we are sitting perfectly in the drop zone right now. So you got Coinbase coming down as well too, in addition. So coin, these are your next levels that you can see right here, plain as day. Underneath 194, pay attention to 188. So you had this opportunity, like a lot of times people is asking for, things that once again are right in front of you. So you do have this opportunity to see this move here on the downside. So you have ticker MSTR and as well Coinbase. Both tickers are going to be coming down with BTC. So this is right in front of your face. Pay attention. These are things, once again, that we've only been talking about for the past 3 months, and now they're playing out here on the surface, right? Of course, if you know Bitcoin's coming down, you know some of the other altcoins are starting to come down as well too. So you got ETHU as well as Ethereum. All right. So look at Ethereum, which is currently at about 2,700. Also, as well as breaking the bottom of this bear flag. I want you to put in the chat 1,600. Put 1,600, y'all. Everyone needs to put that in the chat. A lot of times people have questions because you're not taking notes when you're listening. 1,600. So I'm telling you once again here now, 1,600. Right? Right? 1,600. That is where we are going right now here, right? On Ethereum. So $1,600. Remember, I told you this ahead of time. So 1,600 is where you're getting ready to go. So does everybody have that written down? 1,600. You should have it written down. Everybody should be good to go. Now, where does ETHU go? Right? Ethereum U. Right? ETHU. Where does that lead us to if we're going to see ETH come down to 1,600? About $15 to $22. 15 to 22. I want you to put that in the chat. 15 to 22. I'm sure this will probably get stolen too. Because once again, I'm the only person that's been talking about ETHU. ETHU, which is a 2x levered ETF. This is the price you want to get it at. $15 to $22. You can go ahead and clip that up. I'm sure somebody's going to steal that. Say they did it. ETHU, $15 to $22. That's the price that you want to get it at. So you're going to see Ethereum Classic come down. I'm assuming not Ethereum Classic, Ethereum itself come down, and Ethereum U, which is a 2x levered ETF. So I want y'all to go ahead and get that down for yourself. Jot that information down. ETHU, put it down there, please. Yep. ETHU, $15 to $22. That's the price you want to pick up Ethereum, right? Ethereum 2x levered ETF. That's the level in the area you want to grab this name at. So for the questions as far as Ethereum, that's where you want to grab it at. Now you can see ETHU as well. I'm about to pull it up real quick. So you can see that as well here as a bear flag pattern. So you can see that in addition here, Ethereum U. All right. So once we get underneath this $42, night, we're going to start pulling back more. So you got ETH U coming down once again in Ethereum. ETH U and Ethereum, both are coming down. Both are coming down here. So ETH U coming down. So you can see that expressed here. All right. Next, a lot of questions after this alert. There we go. Salesforce, we're going to cover tickers that are making 52-week lows, right? Yep, Bitcoin is headed towards 74K, correct. So if you watch my story, you would have seen that as well too. I want to cover some of our cloud computing names. Particularly, I want to cover Salesforce, which is ticker CRM, and as well ticker SNOW, which is Snowflake. Remember, we've been talking about this coming, moving here to the downside, both tickers. So let's highlight them. Next stop for particularly both names. Let's give both names, right? Where we're looking to see CRM come down to, and then as well where I'm looking to see Snowflake. Snowflake is likely to go ahead and come down below this 187 point. So Snow puts honestly still have room to print some more. I think you're going to see more downside action, particularly here on Snowflake as well as CRM. CRM getting below 209 next, it's likely to probably start bear flagging here. So you're going to see more downside action and movement here on this name. So Snowflake is getting ready to go down. Good morning. What's going on, man? Snowflake as well is going to pull back a little bit further here too. All right. So you got SNOW, you got CRM going to pull back down. All right. Both stocks. So underneath this 187, you're likely to go back down to about 170 bucks. Let's get you Oracle now. Let's talk Oracle. Good morning. What's going on? Oracle, which is currently at $167 here in the pre-market. Let's get you the next key levels on Oracle. Pay attention to here. Below 163, and then after that, 151. So Oracle is going to drop another $30 to $40 here. I want you to put the price for Oracle. This is where you want to buy this business at. I'm giving you the levels beforehand. When it comes down there, you want to buy Oracle in between $100 to $120. This is the level where you want to get it at. You want to get Oracle between those points, right? So picking up that business at those levels, that's where you want to grab this thing at. All right. So Oracle, that's where you want to pick up this business at. Any questions on Oracle at all? Let's get your questions that you may have on Oracle. Now would be the time to go ahead and do so. Yep. Good morning. Shout out to everybody that's coming into the building. Oracle. Those are my thoughts on it. CRWD, Crowd, which is at about 440. Underneath, watch Crowdstrike underneath 430. So if Crowd for any reason gets underneath 430 bucks, that's the area and the point that you want to actually look to short Crowdstrike again. I would not short it any higher than that. So underneath that level, that's where you would want to look to go short on Crowd, right? Underneath that level, that's where you want to look to go short on it. I just wanted to make that note so you can see that. All right. Crowdstrike. So you should have that. So Crowdstrike, once again, that YouTube is directly in my bio. Also, the link is in the channel if you're following the channel as well, too. So you should see both. All right. So you should have access to see both. So you got Crowd underneath there. Now, this is going to be now notice I've been talking about Palantir coming down here for a second. Well, now we're here at this 148 point. Let's make or break time. Let me go solo screen on this. We did enough Oracle. Palantir 139.66 and 135.28. After that, like this thing can really come down very rapidly and fast. So it's important that you do pay attention to what I'm saying on these names right now, because we can honestly see some downside action very quickly on Palantir here, right? Do not be surprised if you see Palantir sell off, right, a bit more and break down through these levels. So just as a heads up, Palantir can continue to come down further. Do not be surprised if you see that happen here. So PLTR, Palantir, like I said before, get ready to see more of a move here on the downside, another $12, all the way down, $12 to $14, coming down to about 135. So do not be surprised if you see that end up happening here faster than what you think. So get ready to go. Get ready to see this thing pull back and slide down. So those are my thoughts on Palantir. So ticker PLTR, take that note down on that. Yep. But I sell ETH now and rebuy at 1,600. I bought at 2,400. My thoughts would have been for ETH. I got that question in the chat. Time to take profit would have been above $4,000, in my opinion. But I personally, like I said, I see it going down anywhere between 1,600 to 1,800 here. So those are my thoughts and my perspective on the business at this time. I can see that pretty much plain as day here on the charts. So yeah. That's my thoughts. I wouldn't I mean, at this point, only because it's where it's at now, I wouldn't really say to I really wouldn't suggest that. I think it's to get into a good point to start to look to be buying more. So that's really my thoughts on it. So, yeah. Mm-mm-mm, mm-mm-mm. Yep. Yep. So that's my thoughts on it. But Palantir, this is what you have active here. So Palantir also reports earnings on Monday. All right. Palantir is going to report earnings on Monday. Yep. Any any questions on Palantir? Palantir, Palantir, Palantir. Questions, questions, questions. Going once, going twice, guys. It's the time to get your questions in, not later. Get your questions in now. All right. To be good for now on Palantir. Moving on. Want to cover Tesla next. TSLA. Tesla, Tesla, Tesla. I wouldn't be playing Palantir anymore right now. So I would not be playing Palantir at all anymore at this time. So just wait until after earnings. Do not play the earnings report on it. So that's my advice to you. So we have, particularly here on Tesla, I wanted to talk about this 414 level. So we actually came down to 414 yesterday, right? So if you're looking here on Tesla, what I noticed, two things, particularly on Tesla, this has been the area where we've seen reversals in the past. But let's say Tesla does break below 414. It's an easy trade down all the way. Um, you're gonna need to make sure that you are going to see here at this time, if price does get below 414, to take a look for 405. So you can look for that. Right? So Tesla below 414, pay attention to it because it'll draw down all the way to here underneath this level about 405 and then 402. So those will be the levels and the areas that you want to pay attention to on Tesla. Some people have asked me about TSLL. My answer to that is no. Do not buy a TSLL at this time. Do not buy TSLL. Any questions regarding Tesla right now? I can tell you quickly, TTD 25 to 28 is the level that it looks like it's going to next. So that's the area that you want to get it at. Questions pertaining to Tesla? I'm already currently trading Enphase Energy. All right. So Enphase Energy, I'm currently already, well, not even trading it, I'm already vested in it. So Enphase, I mean, realistically, my thoughts, this is a company that obviously has went through a tough time. But this is one that you really have to be patient with and allow to actually recover. I'm not saying they go back to $100, but I thought the price made sense at $30. Do I think it's an overpay at this level? No, I don't think it's an overpay, but I would limit my exposure to this name. It kind of reminds me a lot of like mRNA when it hit $30, and I told pretty much told everybody mRNA and as well Enphase Energy, make a ton of sense at those $30 levels. So you can make some money, but you want to be mindful when price does push up to take profit. So that's realistically my thoughts on this name. All right. So that's my thoughts here on this name. All right. Next one I want to talk about is Adobe. I want to talk about Adobe, ticker ADBE, Adobe. So I want to talk about Adobe. The reason why is very similar to what I was mentioning with some of the other names. You're also going to get and see Adobe come down. I know a lot of people asked me about Adobe last year. And I told you guys before that Adobe, I wouldn't touch this name until the lower 200s. And I stand on that. 204 to 231 is where we're going to actually go to, right? So 204 to 231 is where we're going to go to next. Do you want to look for that? Right? So there's a wide gap below 276 here. So once we get below that, Adobe doesn't report earnings until March the 12th. So you still have time up until then. But Adobe's going to keep coming down. Adobe and Oracle both bearish on them, but they're setting up buy opportunities. Honestly, perfect price I would want Adobe at would be like 160 to 180. You could take those notes down. So I'm telling you here now, 160 to 180 is where you want to pick up this business at. Curious, how excited are you about ETHU? Very excited, but I'm only excited at $15 to $22 though. So ETHU right now, I'm not excited about it yet. I'm getting excited almost, right? But $15 to $22 is the price that you want to pick that up. I mean, that could easily give you anywhere between 100 to 500% return over the next couple of years. So ETHU is probably one of the easiest grabs that I'm putting out there. All you have to do is just wait and buy it at the right price and hold. So as things start to come down, we almost become cheerleaders for the market to come down, set prices to fall because we understand the value of where we're getting those businesses or those specific assets at. Right. So just my thoughts on Adobe as we continue to discuss this software breakdown, right? Software stocks. You do have those. So ticker ZS, right? ZS, Zscaler is next on the docket, right? So ZS is about to do the same thing as the rest of these. It's probably going to form. It's already started to form a bear flag. But ZS where is it going next? Some people are going to ask. 173. That's where ZS is going to go next. So CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Network, ZS, Oracle, CRM, right? This is where it's about to go. Yep. Yep. This is where you're about to go. So ZS as well. Is it a good idea to swing a put on Adobe? Yes. Especially as it's getting below 276 for sure. So let me go back to Adobe real quick, just seeing that question. So yeah, especially for sure. Like I said, Adobe, Oracle, all coming down. So if you've been following me, you've been listening the past few months, you would have known as well with Oracle that I've been highlighting that Oracle was going to pull down even further. Right? Oracle is currently at 167. No, it's not in an accumulation phase, it's in the distribution or TTD, it's in the distribution. So when you look here now, 167, this is where you're at. All right. This is where it comes down to. All right. So you got ETHU, pull it back down further, more and more and more. All right. of the five or so, which of the leverage products are the best? I mean, I think it comes down to what price you get each instrument at. Some prices will end up materializing, some won't. So, for example, like Kano, a lot of people asking me about Coinbase. I keep telling people don't touch Coinbase yet. Wait until about $5 on Kano, because you still got more downside action here, particularly on CONL, right? You still got more downside action. CONL. So Kano is going to pull down more. Coinbase is going to pull down more as well. Obviously, as Kano comes down 2 times the amount of percent wise. So just set your alerts. Take this information, set your alerts so you know what's happening. Take this information and set your alerts. So on Kano, Coinbase, all these things are going to happen. Right? So set those alerts. As far as other attractive buys in the leverage space, I'm also looking at now, ServiceNow, which I'm looking at this at about like $3 to $4. The ServiceNow right now is at 100. This is another name that's currently selling right now. Won't stop quite yet. I personally see this name coming down anywhere between 70 to $80. So you definitely for NOWL in between $2 to $3, right? So $2 to $3. Yeah. So you can see that. All right. $2 to $3, you have that information there. So now L is an attractive as ServiceNow itself is starting to pull back down. It makes it attractive for me. All right. So those are my thoughts on just a couple of the more attractive names as far as the 2x lever side. Some of the names, some of those names, some of the other names have already started to move. Once again, if you came in late, Palantir has earnings on Monday. So Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Palantir has earnings. The question is Palantir going to go up or go down? We won't obviously get that answer until Monday, but I am going into Palantir's earnings report feeling a bit bearish. Okay, so I am feeling a bit bearish on ticker PLTR now. Where I believe the selling can continue, particularly is on cloud computing stocks. We was right to the tick pretty much. The cloud computing names continue to show us weakness here on the downside. So also we have to monitor and pay attention to MSFT. Some questions have came in as far on Microsoft, right? So if you notice, Microsoft dropped all the way to about $420 yesterday. Some people have asked, where do I believe Microsoft is getting ready to go next? Personally, I think Microsoft is going to come down below $400 a share. And let me explain to you as to why. See the selling in the cybersecurity space, cloud computing areas, right? And I still think that Microsoft will fall more, right? I'm not sold that this is going to be the bottom for MSFT. So I like to see Microsoft pull back down more. In that case, and the market just opened up here. We got a couple stocks with new all-time highs. Got SNDK and as well ticker MU. So Micron Technologies, new all-time high, as well as SNDK. So some people as well have asked, gold and silver both came down. I look at more of that as a profit take. Right? These things have been absolutely running. So silver SLV is down almost $16 today. So gold and silver did pull back overnight. But yeah, I do see Microsoft, once it gets and clears below 420, look out for 408. So I would not be sold that Microsoft is done selling quite yet, ladies and gentlemen here. So I do anticipate that you see Salesforce come below 200, Microsoft get below 400, CrowdStrike get below 400, Oracle get down to 110 to 120. So there's still more time. There's still more selling to be seen in these spaces, right? So just my initial thoughts there. Let's go over here to Netflix and also NFLU. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. So when you can pay attention to NFLU and Netflix, NFLU between $12 to $25. That's where you want to get NFLU at. That is the 2x levered ETF of Netflix, right? That is where you want to pick up this business at, right? So this is where Netflix between $55 and $65. You notice I keep mentioning Netflix every time I go live or on a class. That's how important it is for people to know. I don't want no one to miss it and say, oh, I didn't know about Netflix. I didn't know where I was supposed to be getting it at. You've heard it now at least 100 times, right? So at least 100 times you've heard this, right? You've heard Netflix coming down here all the way to 55 to $65. Yep, $55 to $65. We're gonna come and fill these gaps back here to August of 24. We're coming down. NFLU is gonna give you $12 to $15, right? So $12 to $15, right? 12 to 15. Southwest, get down. So that $12 to $15 range, that's where you want to pick up that business at. Well, this 2x lever ETF at 55 to 65 is where you want to pick the business itself from a stock price perspective at. That's where you want to get it. Right? Questions pertaining to Netflix? Any questions? Now be the time. Any thoughts, concerns? Uh, mm, 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 mm. See questions, put your questions in the chat. Right. If no questions on Netflix, we move on. So the market just opened up here today. Let's take a look at coin and as well MicroStrategy. Coinbase and MicroStrategy, just to let y'all know, they'll probably try to run for a quick second today. But don't think that they're just going to continue to just fall without running back up here for a second. What's up, Five? Urgent. But look for MicroStrategy, try to come back up here to 144. You might see Coinbase even try to push back to 200 to 201. That's going to be the spot you want to try to go short at again. So allow Coin and MicroStrategy to shoot up first before looking to go short on them. They have been falling for the past couple of days. So it's likely that you see a little bit of juice in them before they pull back a little bit further. But Bitcoin underneath 80K, and hear me carefully, Bitcoin underneath 80K is going to crush, right? It's going to get crushed. And then that's going to lead to more selling across the board, right? That's going to lead to more selling across the board. So nothing's changed as far as SMCI. The prices still remain the same. Best places to get them. So a lot of things are still remaining the same. I will say that there's not too many things changing on a day to day right now. So which is a good thing, not a bad thing. Hood tried to get below 100 yesterday. It didn't stay below there. It did break for a second, but it didn't stay below. So buyers did step back in there. But yep. Uh, 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 uh. Can you repeat about Coin L, Ano, you mean, and MicroStrategy? Yeah, I just said as far as if you're trying to buy puts on those names, you need to wait, right? You don't need to hop in any puts on those names at open. That's pretty much what I said. So that's exactly what I said here. Do not try to get on those names pretty much here at open. Allow the market to push back up, push those names back up a little bit if you are trying to go short. But that's just a good rule of thumb. If you do see, that we ran to the down, we came to the downside over the last couple of days, right? It is a good, just pretty much good to know that eventually it's going to pop back first before dropping lower. So you make lower lows and lower highs, higher highs and higher lows. Right? So lower lows and lower highs, higher highs and higher lows. Right? So in this case, you are making a lower low. So now you're going to make a lower high. And so if you're following on the YouTube, you'll see that here. MicroStrategy is going exactly where I just said it was going to go. And so is Coinbase, right? So let these names go up first before looking to go short. Let those names go up, make their lower highs before they then make their lower lows, right? So right here, on the screen, we're about to go ahead and hit these levels 200, 201. MicroStrategy is going to go to 145. Then it's going to pull back further. So that's what I'm teaching you is exactly how to be able to sit and when to go short, right? Same thing here with Microsoft and as well Oracle. I can show you the same thing, right? These both names obviously drew down yesterday, but now they of course went up. So now then they're going to pull back now. So pay attention to this structure. Where's my tool belt real quick here? So if we get below this pre-market low, which also happens to be a support, you want to watch Microsoft is not done selling yet. We break below this 429 and as well here on Oracle. Oracle's about to come down here too. So you could even take puts on Oracle for the day underneath this 165 level. Because now Oracle's going to then pull back down and get below 163 and go into the 150s. So when a stock retraces back upward, that usually is giving you an entry to go short, not when it's hitting support and bouncing. That's not the time to enter. It's usually when it's hitting resistance after falling to support and breaking back upward. So that's the way that you want to really attack that. So if you notice, we target things sector by sector, particularly this sector right now is getting sold the most, and you see the most weakness. Cybersecurity, cloud computing, software companies, all three, pretty much anything underneath those umbrellas. So, yep. Questions. Be wrapping this thing up here shortly. So get your final questions in. Final questions. Anything we went over today. Final questions. Let's see. Questions. Correct. Underneath 165 on Oracle. Underneath 165. Yep. So AMD right now briefly just popped up this morning. Yeah. Had a little bit of a drop and then it came back. Currently down about $9 here. Was down at open, but ended up shooting back up. You see some buying coming in. It went right back down to 235. With AMD right now still broke outside of this bull flag. So they broke below 250. So they're probably more so going to just trade sideways, in my opinion, for now. So they get over 266. AMD has earnings in 4 days. I don't trade AMD's earnings. So that's really my thoughts on AMD. I don't trade them. I don't trade their earning reports at all. So we'll see what they can produce for us. This looks like it just saw. We got ETHU but at $44. Only shares. I do not trade leverage leverage products. I do not trade leverage products with options, only shares on them. We got Oracle in that regard. Also, Snowflake. Pay attention to Snow. SNOW. Pay attention to it. So your cloud computing stocks. Pay attention to that. Yep. Old. And National Gaming. Last call, final questions. Final questions, last call for final questions. For things we just touched on today. Nvidia, nothing changes until we actually break over really 200, but really 196. SoFi is at the bottom. They had earnings today. They're at the bottom of this bull flag. So SoFi needs to if they break underneath 23, they'll go down to about 19 to 20 bucks, in my opinion, if they get underneath 23. Those are my thoughts on it. Or 255, which I mean 253. So, yep. $15 to $22, guys. ETHU, 15 to 22. Make sure you're taking notes. When it hits, there'll be no questions. 15 to 22. All right, that's going to be pretty much that for today. We'll shut this thing down. Appreciate everybody for coming on, being in the building. Classes start back on Sunday. So on Sunday, classes will begin back. A couple things to knock out. So appreciate y'all being in the building this morning. But that's that. If you haven't taken advantage already, make sure you join this community today. Check the channel for the details. And if you stepped in a little bit late, this is available for you here on the YouTube. So you can play this thing back at your best convenience for yourself. Just a couple of highlights. Once again, Palantir, do not trade their earnings, but we do anticipate them post earnings to probably pull back more, right? Software cloud computing names. There's 3 positions that you could, well, there's really about 5 positions, but you shouldn't take all 5. There's 5 trades that you could take right now. You got Microsoft puts. You could take those down to about 425, 426. You got Oracle puts. You could take those down to about 161. Right? As well, you could take MicroStrategy and Coinbase puts once they hit that desired upside target. They may not hit it to the tick, but they're getting close. So you could take Microsoft, Coinbase puts, right? This would be MicroStrategy and Coinbase puts, as well as Microsoft and Oracle puts. Right? So Microsoft, Oracle, Coinbase, and MicroStrategy puts. You could take all 4 of those in the final position that you can drill and actually take to this downside as well, right? Outside of those 4 core names right there, you could also as well go ahead and take a look. Snowflake or CRM, either one of those. So that's 6 in total. So Snowflake, CRM, Microsoft, right? And Oracle, you could as well take MicroStrategy and Coinbase. So if you go and actually listen to this Zoom, you'll see exactly the levels and you chart them for yourself. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So Oracle is going to come down further, down to about 156 to 158. You're going to see Coinbase come down to about 187. You're going to see MicroStrategy down to about 135. So MSTR is not done pulling back yet. Microsoft 425, 426. We'll be looking on Microsoft to pull back a little bit further. You know, they opened up green, but they're going to close red and likely sell off a bit more. They're not done falling yet. So go ahead and look at this video, set yourself up, right? Right, gave you guys all of those notes. Once again, if you need me, 716-930-6783. Other than that, I'll be off the grid for the rest of the day. and I'll see you guys on Sunday. I appreciate